How did you have access to these children?
I was watching over them. I was actually the mother's friend. I was staying in and out with her, and I would watch over her children.
What a surprise. Someone who's dating a woman with little ones so that he can gain access to them. Two of them, victims, 4 years old and 5 years old. Now, a judge sentenced him to 25 years in prison. His full term date is 2035, but he already has his first parole hearing take place in 2023, just 6 years after his sentencing date. So before we watch this 2025 parole hearing, we will take a flashback to the past to watch his original 2023 hearing. So with that, let's jump in.
You're classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 25-year sentence for possession of meth and indecent behavior with a juvenile. You were sentenced in October of 2011 in Calhoun Parish. You have a parole eligibility date, which is December 16, 2022. If you do not earn good time, you will have a full term date, June 17, 2035. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And before we start the interview, I want to acknowledge that your mother, Ms. Bridget Parkins, has joined us, and she's on Zoom observing. So we'll start the interview. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Mr. CJ.
Good morning, Mr. Roche.
How you doing?
I'm very good, sir.
Yeah. Sit back and we're gonna have a conversation, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. CJ, you're currently 46 years old
Yes, sir.
and you've been convicted of 2 felonies and you did you have a trial or did you plead to this offense?
I took an Alfred plea.
You took an alpha plea and you agreed to serve 25 years, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been incarcerated approximately 12 and a half years so far, is that correct?
This July should make about 13 years.
12 and a half years so far, right?
Sir?
You've served 12 and a half years so far.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's talk about what's your current job assignment?
I work in prison enterprise as the tool room clerk, tool room orderly.
It tells us exactly what you do for prison enterprise.
Well, I started off as a carpenter, and then I ended up in the tool room, passing out the tools, taking inventory of the tools. At the end of the day, I count all the tools and put the toolboxes up once the other inmates are done with them.
Tell me, do you have any other vocational skills besides carpentry?
Yes, sir. I took the NCCER core, and I have I took the rigging, cabinet making, crew leadership, and a couple others that I've taken.
Since we're talking about programs, let me go over your program. You completed life choices, living in balance, 12-step programs. You completed your sex offender treatment in 2013, 100 hours pre-release. You got your GED in 1995.
Yes.
You have several NISA certificates, and you have multiple in-service award certificates from prison enterprise.
Yes.
Did you take any victim awareness?
No, sir. I think they just started that class up here.
Well, I think you need to take some victim awareness. Have you taken any anger management?
No, sir.
Have you taken thinking for a change?
Yes, sir. I'm in it right now. I have maybe 1 week left, and I'll
Okay.
be complete.
Do you have any children?
Yes, sir. I have three sons.
Okay, so have you taken any parenting classes?
No, sir.
But I also see that you've taken multiple faith-based programs.
Yes, sir. I've completed that program, and I have earned my associate's degree in theology from Cornerstone.
Right. I think you need to get with Warden Thomas, Warden Simon, and see about taking some victim awareness and some parenting classes. I think that would very well. Are you a trustee?
No, sir.
Okay. And you have letters of support from your supervisors and prison enterprises. Let's talk about your drug and alcohol issue. And illegal drugs.
Well, at 13 years old, I started smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol. Till 19, I started doing hard drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, acid, and then later on I got into methamphetamine, and that's basically in a nutshell. That's it, you know.
Okay, now, I've seen you taking 12 steps, you've taken living in balance. Have you ever had inpatient treatment before incarceration, or have you had any treatment while you were incarcerated?
No, sir.
Tell me about your transition plan. Where do you plan to live and where do you plan to work?
Oh, okay. I plan on going to Ch0m0 at Greg's. It's like a transitional house. It's in Ch0m0 in Lake Charles, and I plan on working at Stratigraph out of Lafayette. It's a on-land drilling company as a mud logger.
Have you secured that job already?
No, sir. I know they're hiring though, and they hire ex-cons.
Now, Mr. PJ, I want to enter this into the record, and I want to let you know that you have overwhelming express opposition from multiple sources.
Yes,
The
sir.
second judge has stated he strongly opposed based on a plea agreement that you made with the state of Louisiana and the victim and the victim's family.
Yes.
He stated he is adamantly opposed because of the plea deal. The DA's office has written a very strong letter opposing your early release. All the law enforcement agencies are strongly opposed to your early release. The victim is adamantly opposed to your early release, and the victim's mother is vehemently opposed.
Yes, sir.
Warden Thomas, Warden Simon, would you like to make any remarks, comments, or observations at this time?
Oh, sir, I don't have any comments.
No, sir, I don't either.
Thank you. Madam Chairman, this could be,
May I say something, sir?
no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Well, actually, I think this, before we vote, this is your opportunity to make a brief statement, Mr. Frank.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say that I was lost in my addiction. And I know I was wrong. I take full responsibility for my actions, Bridget. And I am truly sorry. I mean, you knew how I was, and I just made a mistake. So
Right.
please forgive
Right.
me.
Direct your comments to the board.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I'm sorry.
All right, well, thank you, sir. That is entered into the record. I think we are prepared to vote. Mr. Russo will be voting first.
All right.
Appreciate,
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Appreciate. Based upon the plea deal that you made with the state of Louisiana and the victim and the victim's family, I think you've served insufficient time on your sentence. Overwhelming express opposition from the judge, the DA's office, law enforcement, the victim and the victim's family. I think you need some additional substance abuse education and/or treatment. You need to take victim awareness based upon your early use of drugs and alcohol. I think this is a necessity before you release. Based upon all the above reasons, I'm denying your request.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for y'all's time.
I concur with Mr. Roche.
And I do agree that we got some more work to do. We want to be sure that you're not about just getting out of jail. We want you to stay out of jail. We want you to be successful. So you do have some more work to do, Mr. Cruz. So my vote today is the same. You will have the opportunity to enroll in the programs that have been suggested, and you'll have the opportunity to reapply for another year.
Yes, ma'am.
I encourage you to do that. You need to get those
Yes, ma'am.
programs.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
luck to you. Good
Thank
luck.
y'all.
Complete sex offender club?
You know, you really wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it by listening to this hearing that the victims were 4 and 5 years old. Thank you, Lady Holly, for pulling this up in the transcript, right? Isn't that it's just and of course, what do? They find a girlfriend with children at the desired age, and that's the age of their prey, and they date them. And they always find a woman who's working so that he can be the caretaker. And you know what? He had 3 sons. Like she thinks she found the perfect guy. He's so caring. And of course, it's all a plan. It's all a plot. It's the Ch0m0 brain. But you know what? That's just my opinion. We're going to fast forward to 2025 to his next parole hearing. Let's see how it goes.
Today we have for parole consideration Frank Frige, DOC number 428356, who's a second felony offender who was convicted of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and on October 14, 2011, was sentenced to serve 25 years hard labor at the Calcasieu Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 12/16/22. You're not eligible for good time, and your full term date is 6/17/35. Does that information sound correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what did you do to get yourself in trouble?
Well, I was left in charge to watch over 2 minor children. In my own selfish way, I committed some mischievous acts. I was under the influence of methamphetamine on drugs. It's not something that I'm proud of, or I'm actually very ashamed of it. And that's about it, sir. I mean, I know I messed up real bad. I take all responsibility for the crimes that I've been convicted of, sir. And I just made a selfish selfish decision. So,
All right. Why do you think we should let you go now? What's different now?
sir, I've had many years to reflect on the crimes and the life that I was living. I know I messed up a lot. I made a lot of decisions, a lot of bad decisions while I was under the influence. My drug addiction played a big factor into that. I've had a lot of time to grow, sir, and I have to say that I feel much better today than I did before I was incarcerated, and then I hate that it took this and for people to get hurt, sir, for me to get out of them ways, sir. And I know I hurt a lot of people, and I just want I'm just a better person today. I have morals, I have goals now. Back then, I did not have them. And I think I would be a good asset to my community, and be productive today. I've been working in prison industries for 10 years. I've been holding a steady job. I've taken my classes that I've needed to take, mostly dealing with addiction, and I've completed the sex offenders program, sir, which really did a lot for me. That's about it, sir.
Steph, do y'all have anything to add to it?
Just a little bit, yes, Frank has been here at Allen for like 13 years, working in the prison enterprises plant, so he has a trade, he can support himself if he was to be, released. Frank shared with me Monday how he finally owned his crime, and that it took him so long. He hid it behind the lies,
Yes.
but he finally, it took years, but he finally owned it, accepted, and realized what he did. And I asked him, how did that make you feel? He was like, it was like a burden lifted off. So I thought that was just important to mention, just because I don't think he was going to brag on himself, but I've never had an offender talk to me that way and just tell me how they own it, especially that type of crime. He hasn't had any write-ups since he's been here at Allen. He has 0 write-ups actually. And he's, like I said, he's been here for 13 years. So here at the facility, we had no problem with Frank.
Thank you very much.
May I say something? I just here recently, like, admitted, I don't know if I'm still on.
Yeah, you should.
I just here recently had come out and I admitted to my sons because they never asked me, did I do it or anything like that, but I admitted to them, and it just made me feel, like she said, it took a burden off of me, and I've lost friends because, well, so-called friends, because I told them that I actually did it, and but it's okay, I don't need them, but I thank y'all for this opportunity.
Well, we do have someone in support. We have Marcus Frige, your son, who would like to speak on your behalf, coming on Zoom.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir. I agree with what the lady said about him telling people. I have children of my own now, and for him to come out and tell me that, it really meant a lot, and you could hear it in his voice when he told me. And which is, I would like for my dad to meet my girls one day, and I thank y'all for letting him have this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That was the only person we had who wanted to speak. We do have some opposition The judge in the case wrote that they were strongly opposed to your release. The district attorney wrote they're extremely opposed to your release and think you're dangerous. The sheriff's office is opposed to your release. The chief of police is opposed to your release. The attorney general is opposed to your release. And victim's mother is opposed to your release. So we do have some opposition
Yes,
to
sir.
your release. We have Mr. Freeman assigned the case, so he's gonna ask you a few more questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Frank, have you completed your sex abuse, sex offender treatment classes?
Yes, sir, I have.
Tell me what you got out of that.
Well-
What triggers, what you need to do to stay away from things.
Yes, sir. There's, first of all, there's 27 risk factors. There's different risk factors, that you can identify yourself with. And the 27th one was actually the one I identified myself the most with, which was mind-altering substances. They had a couple other ones that I could identify with, but that was my main thing, the main reason why I committed these crimes. I feel I would never have done any of this if I was not under the influence of the drugs, but that would be it, sir.
Okay. Did you go to trial or you took a plea bargain?
I took a plea. I took the Alfred plea, sir.
Okay. And how long have you actually served on this crime?
I have served 15 years.
Okay. And your time was 25, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. And what would you do for a sobriety plan if you got out?
Well, I have a couple of friends out there that are going to Glad Tidings. They have weekly meetings, counseling on addiction. And that's what I planned on doing upon my release.
Okay. Let's see. And I think you had, how many times you were on probation? Once or
Just
twice?
one. Yes, sir.
One. And that we got both.
Yes, sir.
And the victim in this case, the mother is opposed. As the lady said, you have 0 disciplinary write-ups. I have no further questions.
How did you have access to these children?
I was watching over them. I was actually the mother's friend. I was staying in and out with her, and I would watch over her children.
Did you have any children of your own at the
Yes,
time?
ma'am.
You
Yes,
had
ma'am.
all
I
three?
do. Ma'am,
How many children do you have?
I have 3 sons.
That was the question I needed.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any questions. I got them in already. Okay. We ready to vote?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Frege, I guess that's it. First off, I want to thank you for being honest during your interview, because you were very honest.
Yes, sir.
I feel that you are heading 100% in the right direction. The biggest thing was admitting it. And I think you've learned a good lesson. The problem is that, you got to do the time for what you've done. And like the judge said, he cannot believe you even up for parole already. And he wish he could have given you longer. So I don't want to diminish what you've done, because you've done great. But the bottom line is, with that serious nature of the crime, I think you need to do more time. So my vote today is to deny.
Frank, it was actually, this crime was pled down. You agreed to indecent behavior, but it was actually charged at a higher crime, molestation. And so you gotta break there. And I'm glad that you're a productive member of the community there at Allen, and I encourage you to continue along those lines. Not but today, my vote is to deny.
And I'm gonna concur with them for the same reason and also encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing and apply again as soon as possible with a few more certificates and a little bit more classes under your belt and might get a different. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what this means is, Mr. Freejay, is today your parole has been denied. This is gonna our business with Mr. Freejay.
That's very disturbing.
Always nice to see a roach scurry away from his parole hearing. Again, let's keep in mind what Miss Ledoux was referring to is in the appeal, what he was initially arrested for, right? Remember, it was a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old that he was placed in charge of watching. And you know, he marries. No, he's dating the woman. He has 3 kids. She's trying to have her radar. You know, the idea that he has 3 boys and he would have been wooing her. He would have been doing everything to get her to trust her. Don't worry, I'll babysit them. And she probably, you know, she had to work and she justified it. Of course, something that we all know now that you can't do, but the people don't, you know, I'm not gonna, you can't, you know, I'm not going to blame the mother in this case, but just keep in mind that he would have been doing everything he needed to do to gain access to his prey. And he was successful in gaining access to his prey, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. And what it shows here is that because he took the Alfred plea and he was so shocked when the judge gave him 25 years that he appealed it. And so they go through why he would lose his appeal, why his sentence wasn't um, cruel and unusual punishment, why it wasn't overkill. And they say here that the defendant was originally arrested on suspicion of 2 counts of aggravated, okay, these are life sentence counts, aggravated R word on a 4 and a 5-year-old, which involves life imprisonment on 2 counts of sexual battery. The allegations were eventually reduced to 2 counts of molestation of juvenile, which could result in at least 50 years imprisonment on each count, considering the defendant was a multiple offender. The defendant was then allowed to plead guilty to reduce count of indecent behavior with the juvenile. The remaining count was dismissed. So they gave him the plea deal. The state also agreed that they would not file an habitual offender bill against the defendant because he already had multiple felonies for his narcotic stuff. So think about that. The DA knowingly agreed to give this dangerous Ch0m0 a plea deal. The judge gave him a gift of 25 years with parole eligibility right after serving, I don't know, it was just how many years did he serve initially? And we can go to Lady Holly's notes. Makes it easy for me to follow this. You know, it's so crazy. In the deal, all they do is say that he was over 17 and she was under 17 with a 2-year gap. That's what he ends up pleading to. That's how manipulative the charges that the DA agreed to give him. It's insane. A 4-year-old and a 5-year-old full on is just so, it's so sick how they do this. The judge obviously, you know, was pissed off, still gave a 25-year sentence. I know we could say we want more. The judge could have given more and all those things. I don't know why the judge still didn't give more. But and they could have gone him with just they had enough to lock him away for life. And why they wouldn't, who knows? Because they could have gone him as an habitual offender. Now, the two-faced DA, they still don't even show up in any of the hearings, which is just, again, shows how pathetic they are, because why wouldn't you show up to this? Why wouldn't you explain to the parole board how, about this case? I mean, I guess he can keep reapplying, I think, but 2035 is his full term. It's another 10 years. He is 47. He'll be 57 when he gets out. So you got to think about that he will be out with the whole next part of his life ahead of him to commit these type of crimes. And if you think the way I do about these things, there's no fixing him. This was not a crime of opportunity. I truly believe that he wooed this girlfriend with one specific goal, which was to gain access to her children, which is his prey. He did that, and was successful at doing it. And to think that someone like that won't do it again. It was interesting how he said, Mr. Freeman gave him credit for being honest, and maybe that was, the difference. He took programs and he learned what to say. Which, whether you want to give him credit for being honest, or you want to just say that he only learned how to say what to say, you can choose how to think about that, right? It's to be fair, because of course, if he didn't say anything, I would attack him for not saying anything. So he's okay. So he admitted it. And what was interesting, he said that he told his friends, and his friends, he's like, "Oh, my friends disown me, but hey, I don't need them." It's like, I mean, the first thing I said was, "Wow, good job that the friends disowned you." How often have we seen these suckers, stand up there and talk about how he's the pillar of the community and the best thing since sliced bread? It was just funny though how he said it, like still in his head. You can see still how he thinks, where he's like, "They left me, but they're the bad ones." Versus like just having the insight to say, "Yeah, what I did is so sick that yeah, that makes sense." Um, let's see what else is here. I think that's it. There's we can see what Lady Holly has. She is so great. She puts in like the summary of the case, the sources for it. There's the same document, different source. And then we have our fact. Let's go to our fact of the day. In Florida, legal parking fees towards animals must be paid. Legal parking fees. I'm trying to digest this in my brain. In Florida, legal parking fees towards animals must be paid. Sounds like Jumanji was real once upon a time in Florida, because legal fees have to be paid for animal parking, including elephants, camels, and horses. According to Country Living, this law took effect in the 1920s when the Ringling Bros Circus moved its winter show operations to Florida. I still don't get it. What does it mean, legal parking fees? So I don't know. I guess like they're using the word parking. Maybe it would be like if there's all this land in Florida and the zoo would come and they would park an elephant in a field. I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, but there you go. That's another law. I feel like there's more that I want to say to this case, but that's it. What a monster. We see these things and we read about it, but 4 and 5 years old. It's not even comprehensible. But I guess we can keep in mind there's no one in support of him. Not one person. He doesn't even have a preacher to talk about what a great man he is. Nothing. That's nice to see. And with that, I'll let you go.
Out and I admitted to my sons because they never asked me, did I do it or anything like that, but I admitted to them, and it just made me feel, like she said, it took a burden off of me, and I've lost friends because, well, so-called friends, because I told them that I actually did it, and but it's okay, I don't need them, But I thank y'all for this opportunity.